Hi, this is Mike from Stagecoach Road Sewing, and today we're going to take a look at a Singer Touch and Sew. In all of my sewing machine career, I've heard touch and sews disparagingly referred to as touch and swears or touch and breaks, things like that. And I was told that they have plastic gears in place of the metal gears, and that they tend to strip out, and so I've largely ignored them. But recently I've heard some really good stories from people who grew up with touch and sews and who have sewed everything from costumes to wedding dresses on them. So I was intrigued, and I picked up this old touch and sew, and as you can see, it hasn't been anyway, it's not cleaned up yet. It's not hasn't been serviced at all. But I wanted to just kind of see what it's all about. This is the Model 600. It's one of the earlier ones. And I have heard that the earlier ones are better. So the first thing I noticed was that this machine uses the very same pattern cams as the Singer Slant-O-Matic 401, 500, which are wildly popular, have always been popular, and even today they're highly sought after by quilters and sewers of all sorts. So I popped the top off. Take a look inside, and lo and behold, even though I've never looked inside of a touch and sew before, this one is entirely familiar. Now that is just about identical to what you see when you take the top off of a Singer 401. You have a vertical cam stack here, and it's got two cam followers, which are little levers that ride on the bumps on the cam, and as the lever rides on the bumps, it moves the needle bar back and forth to form your stitch patterns. But I don't see any plastic in there other than a new addition here that we'll talk about a little later. It's not a gear, it's a little cam built onto the main shaft. Okay, Singer 401. You've probably seen one before. As I said, they've always been very popular machines. Got the same place for your pattern cam. And look at that. Pretty much the same mechanism. Pretty much identical. On this one, those cam followers that I told you about, when you change patterns, and this is a dual follower system where you have two followers, and the combination of the two followers is what creates the stitch pattern, and what gives you so much variety, because you can have one follower riding on one pattern cam and the other follower riding on an entirely different one, which makes for some really interesting combinations. And so you push in, you can move your follower up and down to whichever cam you want to be on, and you have a little plastic cam down in here that releases the followers back onto the cam stack when you're done changing gears. So top end, pretty similar. Let's look at the needle bar assembly. The 401 has the presser foot pressure adjustment here on a knob on the top. Your touch and sew has your presser foot adjustment here. other than that, I don't see any difference in there. A little bit. Shape of these two pieces, where this one's rounded, this one is square. Well, let's take a look here then. They both have the pop-up and removable throat plate. Okay, let's see. The feed dogs are the same, but here's a difference here in the hook. As you can see, this is just a drop-in type Class 66 bobbin. Just drops right in, lift it right out. The Touch and Sew has something new, and I wonder, I haven't looked into this too far yet, so I wonder if this is perhaps a wind-in-place bobbin. I don't see a bobbin winder externally anywhere, so I'm guessing that that's what the difference is here. It's a lower profile, wider bobbin, and it's got a pull-down lever. Later I'll take that out and take a look at it. The throat plate position lever is identical. There are two things here that I don't recognize. There's a switch up here, and there's a button here. I'll have to look into it and see what they are. I see a few differences there, but what I do not see here is any plastic. This is an all-steel gear machine. Although I do see some minor differences. Here we have, yes, this has got to be wind-in-place bobbin because it's got the same, not the same, but it's the same principle as on the Athena and the Touchtronic. They have the wind-in-place bobbin. This would be bobbin lifter. So let's see. Okay, that's what this button on the bed was. This is what makes it so wind in place. But that's the only difference I see. Let's put the 401 up there and take a look side by side. Everything else appears to be identical. So basically what you have here is a quote-unquote, and I'm not making a judgment here because I haven't tried it out yet, but apparently this was Singer's improvement on the 401. And this would have been the era just before everything went to cheap and everything turned to plastic. So I think the later modern models of Touch and Sew were cheapened up and had plastic gears and a tendency to strip those plastic gears. As I said, we're just looking at it for the first time here, and as I get more into it and get it cleaned up and get it running, we'll update you. So, for now, that is Singer Touch and Sew Model 600. So far as I can tell, a good machine. Well, we've got it cleaned up, oiled, greased, adjusted, and we're ready to try it out. I've got some shirting material here. Alright, so that was shirting. Anything else so shirting. But how about denim? How about denim from a pair of Carhartt logger pants, which is respectably heavy duty? We're going to double that to make 2 layers. Double it again to make 4 layers. And try it out with 4 layers of denim. Now, on a plastic gear machine, I would be hesitant to do this. 4 layers of heavy denim. Well, that was pretty easy. What if we double that and try 8 layers of heavy denim? Now that will be a test. Problems there. That was 8 layers of heavy denim. I'm not going to do that on a plastic gear machine. And I have some split leather. Would you sell leather on your plastic gear machine? I wouldn't. So let's... I'm not changing out the needle, so this is not a leather needle, but it should do the trick anyway. See that? There we go, leather. Woo! Alright, good enough. Because I'm going to, I think, make a pouch or something out of this nice piece of leather. I don't want to get it all full of holes, but see? Nice stitch pattern there. Both sides look good. And strong. So there you have it. I guess I would have to say that the Touch N Sew Model 600 is a good sewing machine. You have my recommendation. I mentioned earlier that I'm from Stagecoach Road Sewing, and you can find our website at stagecoachroadsewing.com, and what you will find there are some really unique sewing machines. Let me take about 1 more minute of your time here. I'm going to move this machine and show you 1 or 2 other ones real quick. Here we have a Morse Photomatic. Check that out. Is that a pretty machine? That's how you change stitch patterns. Automatic buttonhole, stitch length, reverse, double needle zone, buttonhole zone. Just a fine looking machine and very powerful. It's a really strong machine. You can sew denim, leather, canvas. And 1 more. Let me show you 1 more machine. Of course, we have vintage singers. Everybody's got vintage singers. This one, this is a Remington, and this machine is awesome. This is one of the smoothest and strongest machines I've ever sewn on. I've sewn on a lot of FOF 130s and Berninas, and this is just a really fine sewing machine, not to mention beautiful. And check this out. This is how you go from stitch pattern to stitch pattern on this machine. Remember the really, really old jukeboxes? And of course you got your stitch length here and your reverse, chrome bobbin winder, chrome hand wheel, atomic starburst. Fine machines. Anyway, I don't want to take up any more of your time, because I know you want to get right on over to stagecoachroadsewing.com and see some of the other really cool machines we got. You're going to see some things that you've never seen before. So, we'll see you there.